We're live. This special city council meeting workshop is called to order. Public comments, number one. We have any public comments? Nope, nobody signed up.
That's all I got.
Number two, discussion regarding tobacco-free public facilities. Who we got? Courtney? Hot seat, please. Start the time. Yeah, start the time.
Okay. Okay. Am I ready? How much? I have 5 minutes? I thought I had 20 minutes.
You just wasted two.
She's the only workshop. We figured we'd give her more than 5.
As of November 1st, the state allowed cities to go above and beyond state law and allow their parks and city-owned and operated properties to be tobacco-free. The Parks Board, Joe Chappell, called last month and asked, he studied up on it, was waiting until November 1st, was waiting until their meeting, and asked for myself to come and present. The Parks Board voted, Maxine was there, voted that they would all agree that they want their Guthrie parks to be tobacco-free. Serena and I got to talking about, why not just go ahead and do all city-owned and operated property tobacco-free. So,
Minus streets and sidewalks.
minus streets and sidewalks. We had some discussions about the campsites and boats on the lake and RVs. Those are personal properties, just like driving a car in the streets. Doesn't count.
So in other words, could I have a dip on my boat on Lake Liberty?
Yes.
Okay.
As long as you don't spit it in the water when you get there.
Yeah, no
Is
joke.
that littering?
Yeah,
Yeah, we
and
do
the
it.
Parks Board biggest concern was obviously where our parks are, where our kids play. And what comes in parks is litter. And it's been too cold, so the kids haven't done a park pickup this year. But this was 1 hour's worth of work, and that's not even all of the bags. I think they picked up, Maxine, what did they say? 10 pounds? 5 pounds.
5 pounds.
5
I think this
pounds
was.
of tobacco litter
That's
in
a lot.
one park.
That's gross.
One park. Yeah, so that's just for you guys to see. We didn't save them, so I didn't bring them with me. We did have a discussion about the airport, which was raised. I contacted the state and they said, I told them that the airport was on leases, and they said, well, when their leases were done. And so I got a laugh because then Serena goes, they're on 25-year leases, and I'm like, when their leases are done,
Then they can change the lease.
yeah, we would not ask them to stop in the middle of a lease or anything like that. So, are there any questions? I have a lot of research and a lot of everything.
Well, talk to us a little bit about what would enforcement look like, what other cities may do this, what would be a result of us doing this, benefits to the community, and then we can talk a little bit about what council will probably hear from the community about this.
Enforcement. Basically, the city will enforce it with signs, if they get, basically where kids are, if they're gonna get a phone call, it's going to be kids having a problem. So obviously, if they see a under 18 person using tobacco, they're in trouble anyways because they're under 18. But we hope that citizens would support this and would notice the signs, and it basically be if Miss Wanda were here and I see her and I say, we're a tobacco-free park. Same thing we do at the health department. Obviously at the health department we can't write tickets, you guys would be able to, but we just let people know. All state property is. So, and some counties even have all of their county property doing it. Since it's just in November, I want to say Ada, Shawnee, Edmond, City of Coyle adopted a resolution a couple years ago to go for their parks to be tobacco-free. Now, and then Ada and Shawnee's include city-owned and operated properties. So, but Coyle's, theirs is just their parks. What was another question?
School district, what is the Guthrie School District do?
All Logan County school districts are tobacco-free 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So they're already setting that example for kids. Two of our schools are also tobacco-free, e-cigarette free. So we're kind of behind in that
Are you
aspect.
proposing e-cigarettes as well?
My thing about those is there is no health research on them. And I'm going to be very honest with you guys. You guys know me. There's none whatsoever. There's none that say it is harmful. There's none that say it isn't harmful. There's no research that says it's a tobacco cessation device at all. I even have research here. I went to the Journal for American Medicine Association. I just typed in the word e-cigarette, which should put up all of the research shown. There's nothing. The only research that we have is when the Youth Risk Behavior Survey came out with this tobacco use, it did show that youth used it, but that's all. To me, I mean, this is you guys' decision. If it looks like a cigarette, if it puffs like a cigarette, to me it has to be, and it's unregulated. So when our stores have them, they're mixing them up in a back room. So that's about all I can tell you guys on it. I do have frequently asked questions about them from the State Department of Health, but I couldn't find you guys any research on that.
Comment?
Yes, go.
To me, the e-cigarette things are more of a nuisance because you can't smoke, you can't chew, but yet here's somebody with this thing, puffs of smoke, vapor, whatever you want to call it, float through the air. So people automatically wonder what it is. They want to know. It is unregulated. We don't know what it does. We don't know anything about it. Supposedly it's a tool to help you stop smoking. So was smokeless tobacco. So was everything else. I think if we put something like this together, we should include e-cigarettes, the e-things. I think we ought to, city property, get rid of those too. People are using those in lieu of, they're not a cessation type thing anymore, and kids under 18 are getting them.
2 of our schools have had problems with kids sneaking them into schools and figuring out ways that they could be not used for just nicotine. So.
Well, I think if we put one together, in my opinion, it ought to include those.
They are working on some legislation right now that
They
will
are,
regulate it.
correct,
So
correct, yes.
it is in the works.
Yes, that's from the
Two state
FDA,
legislators are introducing.
And then that's fine.
yeah.
To stop it.
In the meantime, if we put this together, I think we ought to go ahead and take that step.
Let me tell you guys some good news.
Finally.
Logan County just received its health report, and I've always said we're striving to be the healthiest county. And last year we were 12th. This year we're 9th. So, and it's by everything that, you know, as a city that you guys have done, really, with our community garden. Not a lot of communities have one, and very rarely do you see them give back to a food bank. Very low communities have a master plan that includes equal transportation for all users. Those things take into effect the number of parks that we have per capita, and we have a great parks board. So we're getting there. I would like, you know, in a couple years to break the top 5, but that's just me striving. I will say we are the 9th healthiest county in a state that's the unhealthiest. So we did receive an F in physical activity, an F in obesity, an F in tobacco use, an F in fruit and vegetable consumption, and we are considered a food desert by the lack of places that have these things available. Fresh fruit, fresh produce, anything healthy, really outside of Guthrie. So, sorry for the bad news again. Are there any questions, concerns while you guys have me here?
The benefits of this.
Benefits?
Didn't you say we would be eligible for?
Yes, you guys would be eligible for some grant money through this. Not just because of this, but we're seeing a lot of grant money come down the line that revolve around healthy communities. And I think they kind of see the correlation between economic development and the health of its residents. Benefits, less litter in our parks. Joe Chappell, I mean, he's not here right now, but that was his big thing as a smoker himself. Wants to keep our city beautiful. So nobody wants to go out there and pick up those little things, especially with the ducks laying around. I always like to do, when I have kids, photo boys, and the best picture I ever got was gave them a camera and I told them to go out and take a picture of how tobacco affects their community. And one child took a picture of a duck in a park standing next to two cigarette butts. And his caption was, "What would happen to the duck if he ate this?" And I was like, well, what happened to that duck, you know? And next, we're setting a good example for the future residents of Guthrie. So, we've got great kids, so let's keep that going. Do you want to talk about from a city point of view?
On city properties, we would address it within, it'd be basically part of policy. This isn't something that has to go into effect immediately.
No.
It can wait. We'll look at cessation programs that Jim can discuss with our employees, because we already have a policy in place, an internal policy of no tobacco products allowed in vehicles. And so we already enforce that. This would then broaden that to the property. So think GPWA, cemetery, all of our locations, water plant, wastewater plant, et cetera. So we would take that in internally and enforce it internally.
As far as signage go, the State Department of Health and the Logan County Health Department would purchase signs for you guys. No other questions?
So y'all feel free to discuss. The next step is drafting an ordinance, or not. And if you tell us not to, we don't.
I think we're ready for the ordinance.
Well, in
I
the
think
park,
we were
this
ready
is something
3 or 4
that,
months ago.
the Parks Board
Yeah.
would really like for their parks to be.
We have a sample one from Perkins. I believe
Yes,
it
we have a
is.
sample one from Perkins, and then Serena, we have a sample one from,
I just want to
Ada?
hear from council. I know how to write an ordinance.
Yeah.
Do we want to go there?
Well, I don't see everybody, I'm like everybody else, I don't wanna see butts out there, not because of the ducks.
I know.
I shoot ducks anyway
Had
when
to
I
throw
go
in
duck
that
hunting.
story.
But no, it's the point where if it's getting that bad, and that, like I said, that picture shows how many butts we've got. If people, sorry folks, if you're that lazy and you're gonna throw your cigarette butts out on the ground, I guess we need to put something together and put a stop to it. I'm tired of going places where you look down and all you see is trash or cigarette butts or whatever. Chewing gums is nasty too. I'm tired of getting that stuck at the bottom of my shoe when I go places, so.
I'm not ready to outlaw that.
No, I'm not either. Oh, I see your chewing gum. But, no, I'm not talking about that, but it's just the point where I think I have no problem with that. Because everybody's doing it, everybody's getting
I
to
was
the
gonna
point
say,
where they're gonna stop it.
isn't the majority of the metro thinking of that too?
Yeah, they are.
I was gonna say, we don't wanna be the last.
I like to
Dog
be
on
the
the
first.
I'm one of these people that I don't wanna take people's rights away from them. I don't want them, if you wanna smoke, that's your business. If you,
I agree.
you can smoke, you can drink, sorry chief, but they can do whatever they want, so long as they don't go out on the road and cause problems, and as long as you don't throw your butts out on city property. State's already forbidden it everywhere down, all over everywhere now, all state parks, all lodges, all everything. It's
Yes,
completely
that is
smoke-free,
gonna be
tobacco-free.
your.
Most counties are going tobacco free.
Yeah, everybody's going tobacco free, exactly.
We're low and behind on it, but we're doing good. Our tobacco rates are down, so we're getting somewhere. So,
Z,
I say do it.
no opinion? Go for it?
I'm used to not having smoking everywhere I've ever been, so it doesn't bother. I can't
Just from a
imagine lighting up a
community.
cigarette in here.
You only do it once.
Yeah.
Promise you. I enjoy my time.
Well, I think we ought to go in ordinance, but I think we ought to include e-cigarettes. And if the only reason that somebody wouldn't want to include it is because we don't know anything about them, that's just the wrong answer. There's no reason we shouldn't take that step out there. They're a nuisance. You don't know if they got a cigarette or an e-cigarette, and you gotta go look. We shouldn't even have that problem. Too many kids are using them for other than to stop smoking. Too many adults are using them for other than to stop smoking. They've been using them for 2 and 3 years since they've come out. And then you get into this thing of somebody goes to say something to them and they say, well, you can't, I've got an e-cigarette. Let's just get rid of them. That's my opinion. So unless somebody says something different, we ought to just include that in that ordinance.
An effective date for the ordinance?
Yesterday. Realistically, the sooner the better as far as
2
I'm
weeks
concerned.
ago.
And I know you've got to talk to the employees and do whatever you need to do
And
there.
that will take time. Serena said, well, March 1st, and I said, you have to give your employees some time.
Can
to
it be a two-stage deal? Number one, the city parks and whatnot.
You can do the ordinance all at once. Just, I would say, for city employees, give them some time, set a end date. Maybe it's 5 months from now. That way we can get in here and do some education, get them some tobacco cessation things.
We'll get signs ordered, put up in the
Right.
parks too.
Yes.
Educate the public, newsletter.
Right.
Maybe I missed this, how many employees do we have that smoke?
Yeah, we wouldn't know. I mean, we would,
Several.
We have several.
sure.
And the only reason why I'm asking is I don't care if they smoke or not, that's no big deal. Are we gonna provide them an area where they can go, like, I'm trying to say, somewhere where they can go outside to smoke or not?
Here's where, and I'll
That's why
tell
I'm
you,
asking.
one of
That's
my
what I
first
wanna know.
thoughts that we talked about is, so if you go to municipal services, if we say not on city property, then what's gonna happen? Either A, they're gonna get their vehicle and leave, which is fine with me.
Right,
What I don't want is them going out and standing on their standing on
that
the
was what I wanted to ask
street.
you.
And then it looks even worse, like I'd rather you be behind the building.
And what I've got is, the reason why I'm asking this, is out at Job Corps, they get in their cars, drive off the property and smoke in their
And
own
then come
car
back.
and then come back.
That's what
the reason
city
why I'm
employees
asking.
That's
do
what
as
state will
well.
do.
That's what I was
Mercy is smoke-free, the whole campus, and that's.
Yeah.
Even in their cars.
Yeah,
Yeah, just on the
parking
right.
lots, the whole campus.
Yeah.
And where I work is detached from the hospital, but it's got a huge parking lot. They can't even be on the parking lot in
Yeah, they
their
have to
own
go out of
cars.
That's what they're doing at
So
Job
maybe
Corps, they have
just
to literally
not
go
our
off the
problem.
property completely.
Yeah, we have
If-
state employees
No,
that,
it
I mean,
isn't
even
your
as a health
problem.
department,
Right.
they leave.
They get in
You
a
know,
car.
And they go
Car,
across the
drive off,
street.
Go across the street, yeah, that's what Job Corps does. That's the reason why I was asking, I didn't know if you were gonna provide something, or say you all have to go
have
off
to
the
leave.
property.
Mercy
Yeah.
didn't provide anything. They said this is the rule.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I'm asking, because I thought if we're gonna do that, let's just stick to the whole thing
Yeah.
then.
It is all city-owned and operated
Okay.
property, so.
Yeah, no
I have no
designated
problem with
area.
that then.
I was thinking, even the fire department, it's kind of their house, that would be off limits as well.
Yeah, they just have to go, they can just walk out on the middle of the street and
They
smoke.
literally have to, because they don't really have the luxury to necessarily drive off,
Right, yeah,
per se.
they,
Unless they hop in a city-owned vehicle, then they have to get out.
They can't go in a car.
That includes dipping too, is that right?
Yes, yes, all,
All
you go.
tobacco.
which is
Right.
harder to
Yeah.
kind of
No,
catch.
dippers that.
there are a
Sure.
bunch of dippers, I know that.
So this isn't exactly easy. We
It's
bring
not
this to you, it's
easy,
not
and that's
easy.
why, to give time for them, to get, whatever they need. As the state, when we did it, we have to sign a letter that says we are tobacco-free. And if we are not, we owe $300. So, they're paying our insurance, I am not, so I don't have to, I just check the box that says no, but for them, it stinks. But it does raise your insurance prices, so,
Oh, yeah.
a lot,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
So are there things that you can do to help these
Yes.
smokers
Yes,
try to quit?
yes, we have the 1-800 quit now that, the State Department of Health provides. We also have in Logan County tobacco cessation coordinators. And you know me, I'll do whatever if they need, to make things happen. So make it as smooth as a transition as possible. So,
French Margaret.
I think the biggest issue with smoking is you have to provide, I mean, we provided smoking cessation back in the day when we were doing Project Stun, and we provided it even for the whole community to come here, and we sponsored it here at City Hall, in fact, at noontime. But you have to, for employees and citizens, but people have to want to stop.
they have, yes, correct.
You know, if you have an employee who, you know, enjoys smoking or whatever it is, a tobacco product, they're gonna use it unless they, you know, decide to stop. We can certainly limit the areas and we can provide the cessation things, but if
We'll
they're
give
not
them all the
willing to
tools they
quit,
need,
they're
but-
not gonna come to those classes either.
Yeah.
We as an employer just need to recognize that because, I mean,
Yeah, Jim's absolutely correct.
Okay, we'll work on the ordinance.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. Got like, this is my first time getting nervous in front of you guys.
I think you did just,
Great. So, okay, call me, call the health department if you have any questions. If you have residents that have any questions, you know, I will try and get you the best answers that I can. So,
thank you.
guys.
Thanks, Courtney. Number 3, discussion regarding agenda items. I guess we got the grant for the $1,000 going to the library. Anything on that one we need to, you're all set up, it's good to go?
Good to go, sir.
All right. Anybody got any questions about that? And then the other ones, the printers, fax machines, and ink cartridges, letting them get rid of those things.
Pretty simple.
This is gonna be an easy one.
It's, yeah, December is usually just,
Finish up the
Snoozer.
last loose ends.
All right. Number 4, request for future items of discussion. Anything that anybody's thought of? Number 5, we're adjourned.